So Muru asked that he wants to connect to interactive SQL, and he wants to connect through Microsoft Access. Okay, now we are all connected to the Siebel database through Siebel GUI. We all know that. Do you know this perspective to the whole thing? Every application consists of GUI layer, business object layer, and database layer. I think you know that, right? Right. If you haven't seen this diagram, I'm going to give you an overview of this diagram so that you know. See, you're familiar with screen, view, applet, and control, or fields on the GUI layer, right? See, down under, I think I told you already that table and columns are the underlying structure where data gets stored. Is it right, Shazad? We talked about that portion. Somewhere inside there are a structure called as business object, business component, and fields, right? So whatever we are entering here gets stored here. When we make a query that I want this data, the data comes from here. Okay, just to make the life easy, let me give you a few examples. When I click on professionals, Siebel engine finds out the default view, my professionals, and then it goes and sees the definition of what are the various filters on my professionals. So it composes a SQL, right? Then it finds out my position, the position which is mine, the person who is logged in. Then it goes and finds out the data relevant to go to SAdmin, and goes into this database like this, gets all this data, puts it back into the applet. This is how this thing works. When you click somewhere here in a view, Siebel engine finds out what are the applets and what are the controls on that view, then finds out what is the position of the person who has clicked on that view. Then it goes inside and then it makes a query, SQL query. It makes a SQL query somewhere here in this business logic layer, goes inside and gets the data from these tables and columns, gets it out and puts it in applets and controls, right? So this is the relevance of this thing. This is the importance of this diagram. Is it right? We call it is not only a Siebel concept, it's a generic software concept. All the data which is here gets basically stored here.
But maybe the business object, business component and field might be different from software to software.
Exactly. In fact, these names of screen view, applet, control might also be a little different. Table and column is pretty much same. Yeah, that's a good idea. So these names might be different, and in fact, the concept behind them could also be a little different in different softwares. Yeah. But idea is, this whole idea, object based. Yeah. The whole idea is same in each and every software. And table and column is something that even the name is same everywhere in the software world. Okay, so coming back, if you create a new record in applet on a specific view, you create it here, it goes here and you click submit. When you try to save it, it goes here, then it comes here, gets stored here, then that's what happens. In case of Siebel, there is no confirmation that it got stored, but you can again make a query for that, and the request will go here and it will come back. So this whole thing should also be, we say the same thing in form of request and response also. When you go to applet, you are basically making a request for getting the data for that applet. The request goes here, goes to table and column, gets the response from this database management system, gets all the data and brings it back here. So this is who does this? Siebel engine. Siebel engine does all that, right? Okay. So this is the basic architecture of any software. Today what we will do is, we will enter the data here, and we all are used to entering. When we enter the data here, then we see the data here itself, right? We make a query and see that the data has been stored. Today what we will do is, once we enter the data here, we will look for the data here. Okay? We will go to tables and columns underneath and look for the data right there. Okay? Alright? Purush is asking, there are two ways to do that. There are actually multiple ways to do that. First of all, to query, what this thing is called as, connect to the database and query the database. Simple. That's what we call it. Okay. So to connect to the database, we don't have what Muru was saying. Can I get the access to interactive SQL, or can I teach him how to connect to interactive SQL? My answer to him is, there is not only one software which can connect to table and column. There are multiple softwares which can connect from here. Usually Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, or DB2, all these RDBMS, they will come out with a free program. For example, one of the tools is this for SQL query, for SQL Server databases. This query analyzer is made by Microsoft, and it is shipped out of the box with the RDBMS. You know, so this box, this program, which I can open it for you. This program is shipped out of the box from with SQL Server, and we need to connect these softwares to the database here, so that then we can look at the tables and columns. Okay, so we'll study how to use these softwares to connect to the database, and what are the various options. First of all, so for SQL Server, we learned that there is one option called as Query Analyzer. Okay, then there is another option. This is the second option, Toad. This is the worldwide standard for connecting to Oracle. Oracle out of the box also provides a tool called as Oracle SQL Plus, but nobody uses that. If you know, well, people do use that, and I take my words back. People do use that, but Toad is a more advanced way of looking at the data. Okay, so to make Toad work, again, you have to have the name of the Oracle database, how to connect to that, so on and so forth. Once you connect using Toad to the Oracle database, then you can shoot queries and look at the data directly. Third way is this Microsoft Database Access. See, this Microsoft Access is a Microsoft tool. In this, you can right from here, you can make a link between the tables in other databases, and like I have made the links, you know, and I will teach you Microsoft Access. That's the first and foremost thing. This is easiest also. You will really love this thing, Marks. Okay, but I'll teach you DB SQL also. Okay, because that's the standard thing that the SQL gives. Yeah. So this is another option by which you can connect to, you know, to a SQL database. By the way, this option can be used with either SQL Server or Oracle or anything. You don't need to worry about all that. And I'm using, basically this is Microsoft Access tool. I'm using this to connect to SQL Server and to Oracle. I've done both, so I'm 100% confident that it can be done. But the limitation of this tool is that it has very limited capacity. So if the indexes on the tables are high, you cannot do anything here. So for example, your account table and your contact table, they have a lot of indexes. So you cannot do anything there. In the sample, I dropped the indexes. I deleted some of the indexes. But in the production environment, you cannot do that. So you cannot do all that. So that's the reason that, okay. So anyway, this is third option. But Siebel, for its sample database, out of the box, ships another option. For example, I am in the C colons in the root directory of the Siebel installation, and you see this bin folder right here. For Siebel 6, this is the one, iSQL55.exe. You open it, iSQL55.exe. Okay, so this is
bin, just it is there directly in the bin.
But that's in SQL 6, not in SQL 7. So let me come to SQL 7 now. Give me 1 second, Murks.
Okay.
In SQL 752, in client, in bin, you will see dbiSQLc.exe. That is the name of that.
What is that? ENU?
dbiSQLc.
I need to go to ENU.
No, you don't need to go to ENU. I'm outside ENU, as you can see.
Okay.
So
No, but just
it is somewhere there. You just look for it. I think I sorted by application, so you sorted by application too. Then you can see it.
Siebel client.
Yeah, bin.
Client bin.
Yeah. So this program can be used to directly look at the definitions. Now those guys, like, looking at the definitions is easiest from here. But looking at the definitions is very difficult.
ISQL.
Is very difficult if you cannot locate. It is very difficult to locate to work on the data from here. But this is a free tool which will always be available. So that is the advantage of this one. This is always available, and it is easiest to use this tool. But the problem is that sometimes it does not work. Advantages: it works with SQL Server, Oracle, everybody. This tool is the industry standard for Oracle databases. The only thing is you may not be working on Oracle database. For example, by the way, the Siebel sample database is a Sybase database. So this tool will not work there. Plus, it is not easy to use that. One needs to be a programming kind of a person, programmer kind of a person to really use that. So for our class, this is the only option because this is the easiest.
Okay.
The only thing is it will not work with some of the tables. It works with all the databases. It works with Oracle, SQL Server, everybody, but it does not work with some of the the tables, because some tables might be having like more indexes on them.
Okay.
So anyway, but it will work for our purpose.
Okay.
Okay, so we will learn to use this, and we'll just start DBI SQL once. We cannot start this because we need to have an Oracle and SQL Server database for that.
Okay.
We don't have it, but it will be pretty much straightforward. Whenever you go, wherever you go, you'll be able to do that. Okay, so coming back, question is, why do we need to look at the data when we can look at the data in the GUI also, right? So that's Shazad's question. I don't know, I'm just speaking for Shazad today. Point came out that in SQL you are not allowed to insert or update or delete a record directly in database. That's a big no. Reason? The reason is like this. Just as, if you open a Ferrari, you buy a Ferrari and you touch the engine yourself, the Ferrari warranty goes down. Do you know that?
Is there
If you buy a Toyota Corolla new, and if you buy a new Toyota Corolla and then you touch the engine, Toyota's warranty goes zero, right? Is it right? Okay, so we know that. So similarly, this SQL also says that if you buy SQL and touch the base tables directly by yourself, spoil it might. It's not a matter of spoiling; it's a matter of touching in America.
Yeah.
So if you touch it, warranty goes zero. No SQL support after that. You cannot do anything. So insert, update, delete of SQL data directly using database tools directly at this layer is just not allowed. Making sense?
Administrator also can do.
Administrator in SQL administrator or anybody in the company, nobody in the company is allowed to do
That's
that.
a good point.
Okay, that's a good point. All right, so let's go over all the slides one by one that we have so far. This is a very important slide. We entered this one more point, although we discussed that before. Then this is another point that this is another diagram that I showed you. This is another point. This I just told how the engine works.
Yeah,
this is
1 minute.
this is the comparison between
Table name.
comparison chart. Just my way of comparison chart. It's of just various tools we are discussing, and then we have this overall rating for each and every. So you're gonna be using this or this all the time. Okay.
So these are.
So we have entered one more point, like Quest software, and then we said this is free. This is free. I have entered. Okay. So I'm just going back. I would request at this point that you stop the video and you write everything that you see.
Okay.
I'm just going over each of the slides
Okay.
one by one.
Okay.
Okay.
Good point.
To make a connection with the database, you need to have an ODBMS connection, ODBC connection. So let's learn how to make an ODBC connection. Okay, I'm going to make an ODBC connection with the SQL with our sample database. For every situation, it's gonna be a little different, but the rules are pretty much same. You have to put the name of the database. You have to put the user ID and password. You have to tell the name of the machine where it is residing. All this information has to go. These are the 4 information that are usually which an ODBC connection will want to know. What is the user ID, password? What is the machine name where the database is residing? What is the name of the database? Okay. A few days back, I had to connect to one SQL Server database in one of the machines. It had to go through some authentication things. I was completely helped by my database guy. I didn't know anything. Then database guy tried, he failed. Then we called another guy, he failed. Then we came to know that there is a systems team. They are the only people in the company, in the whole company of 5,000 people who know what to do. There were 3 people. We called them and they told us. So beyond what I'm gonna teach you, you're gonna learn on the it's gonna be like something that you can ask everybody. But you should know what is an ODBC connection and how to make an ODBC connection. Okay, so we'll make a simple ODBC connection to sample. Okay, usually you need user ID. This is my notes so far from what I said. This is another thing that I entered. Please write it down. We'll discuss that. Okay. Okay. So we'll make a connection to sample database first. Okay. Then in time we'll come to know the place where TNS names or we'll just talk about that at that point. Okay. So you go to control panel. That's what I did. I'm in control panel. You go to administrative tools. In that you go to data sources ODBC. Then So then you create after coming to this thing, you create a new one. Add.
So first, see, for here,
You first go to data source.
User DSN and system DSN, or only system?
I just create system DSN.
Okay, system DSN.
So click on add. You have to pick a driver. Okay. Yeah. And for this thing, I installed it at this. So this is the driver for that. And this is a driver for tools. This is a driver for my client.
Siebel 6.
For 6.
Yeah, for Siebel 6. Because I installed there Siebel 6 there. For Siebel 7, this is the driver, as the name suggests.
Client?
Yeah.
Okay. In my system, I'm looking at Siebel database C.
Yeah, you just
6, that's for 6, right? And for 775.
Yeah. So just remember what are the drivers. So these are the 4 drivers that you'll be using most of the time. If you install 7.7 or 7.8, corresponding choose. There's so many other drivers. You know, I wish I knew the exact meaning and purpose of everything, all the drivers, but I know that this is required if you're connecting to Oracle, that is server. So this is required if you're connecting to server again.
Okay, but right now we are using Siebel database.
Sample database, which is a Sybase database. So we are connecting to that by using
there
this.
in
Yeah.
client. Okay.
So click on finish. Then you click on finish. Then you choose a database file.
Data source name. No, just a minute. Database source.
Yeah. Then from there you go to C column. This is where I installed. Okay, you need to know where you installed Siebel 6. Okay, then you go to sample, all files. This is a file. I just changed it to all files. Remember that. Usually it will not be like that. So you have to make it all files. Then only you can see this. Click open. This is the database name. This is the database name is automatically inserted. Give me 1 second. What is the name of the user ID password? Asset admin will work. It will work.
Oh yes, it will work. Oh, okay,
Yeah. So I should be able to now this ODBC. What is the name of the ODBC that we kept? Yeah, this is the name. I'm configuring it just to change the name. Okay.
No, not this data source name top one.
This one?
Database name should be the same.
Okay.
So, data source name.
I'm just calling it duplicate. You don't need to call it duplicate. You can call it sample 6.
Okay. This one, right?
So I just create this, and then I click OK. It has been created. I go to access now. Then I click on. I have to first connect to the tables. So this is the next step.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually from SQL Query Analyzer it should be quite easy after this, but from here just try to see. I click on first I click on tables. Then I click on new. Then I click on link table. I click OK. Then I come to this point. I go and choose this drop down. Again, let me show you from till this point. I click the lowermost one, ODBC databases. I choose that. Automatically something pops up. I choose the sample 6 duplicate. Okay, the one that I created just now. Click OK. It will show me all the tables that are available in Siebel 6. I'm gonna whatever you highlight, it will start showing. So
select
just
all?
No, do not select all. It will take you 2 years to get that. So I'm taking contact. I'm taking opportunity. You first do the opportunity. That will be my suggestion. Then we'll do everything else. So opportunity is the one that you're supposed to pick right now. Click OK. It will create a connection to that. You double click on that. You can see all the data in there. There are 66 opportunities. Then you can make queries. You come here. You click. How to make a query we'll discuss later. So what is an ODBC connection? See, an ODBC connection is to connect to any database. You need some ODBC connection. See, to connect to, let's understand, to connect to a car, let's say you want to put the tires on the car, you need to have those 5 bolts in there, right? And then you have to have the rim which has 5 holes in it, and you have to fit those holes, those into those 5 rims, 5 nuts. Then you put the nuts on top of it, and then you screw them. That's when the car gets connected. So the tire gets connected to the system of the car. Is it right? Is it right? Similarly, so what we are realizing is that
what was ODBC basically?
Oracle data, Open Database Connectivity. So specifications of the bolts which is manufactured by somebody have to match with the specifications of the rim and have to match with the specifications of those those projecting those nuts for whatever those are on the Toyota system, on the Toyota cars wheels. So all these specifications should match. Similarly, to connect any two things in Siebel also, you need to have the right nuts and bolts. Some things are provided by the person who is making the database. Some things are supposed to be had by you. Making sense?
Okay.
Okay. Now we know that if we install a mouse, we need a driver for that, right? So we all know that same driver may not work for another model of mouse. And we know that if we have a mouse and we have a model and we buy a similar mouse, exactly same mouse, we buy another piece of it, the same driver will work. So driver basically is required, and it is required at the model level. And some companies, they club all the drivers for all the different models of theirs only in one file, and then you just need to install that file and you can run all the models of their mouses. In fact, these days, for all the models of all the companies are already installed in Windows Vista. Is it right? So things are changing every day, but we need to understand that we need a driver. So in database world, to connect to this database, first thing we need is a driver. This is the first level, this is the first level at which the connection will occur. This driver is published by the database manufacturer himself. The database manufacturer himself will provide you with the driver to connect to the database. Okay, drivers are of two types. Again, one which are peculiar to the database. Sometimes they are peculiar to the whole class. Let's say it's an Oracle database. You can use a Microsoft ODBC for Oracle, or you can use the one provided by Siebel. Okay, then once you have the driver, then you just have to tighten you have to create ODBC connection on your PC, which is like before you put the tire, you have to make sure everything is shining, everything is clean. You have to do certain preparations on your end to make sure that you can utilize the facility provided by the manufacturer. Is it right? Is it right? So you have to make ODBC connection in order to connect. Then you need to have the right software which can utilize this ODBC connection, and ODBC connection created by you with the use of the driver from the company, from the manufacturer. You create this ODBC, and you need to have a software that we just fondly called querying tool. Right? So you need to have a driver, so you need to have a querying tool. Querying tool and these things are in your hand. You purchase this tool from some company, or sometimes these querying tools are provided out of the box by the companies. When you buy Oracle, it will be coming with it. So this database Siebel has provided you, or Oracle will provide you. This driver will be provided by either Siebel or Oracle. This ODBC, making an ODBC connection, basically it means grease and everything is at your home. It is on your PC. Microsoft has provided to everybody on the PC. You can, if you know the driver name, you can create an ODBC connection. This software tools, some are free, some are not free. So these are the 4 levels that you needed in order to create this connection. That's what we did in the last. We had this database. We know the database, where the database is lying, and we found out the driver first. So driver, with the help of the driver, we knew the driver, then we created an ODBC connection with the help of the driver. The central component was the driver. If you delete the driver, you can never ever in your life connect to that Oracle or ODBC to this database, right? So this driver was installed and given to you by Siebel itself when you installed Siebel. Without your knowledge, they installed it. Okay, ODBC, creating an ODBC connection from driver is a very small thing. This facility is provided by Microsoft itself. It's on every PC. That's what you saw in the control panel. Once you have the driver, you can create the ODBC connection. It is a piece of cake, but you have to do that. Is it right? Is it right?
Yeah.
Right? Then there are querying tools. You need a querying tool to basically utilize this ODBC connection and access this which will in turn use this driver, then which will in turn connect using all this facility, the complete facility, to database. Once you are connected to database, you will forget that you sometimes did that. For example, when we are driving, we never realize that there is a carburetor in the car, there is an engine in the car. At most we remember the engine is the car, but most of the people in the world do not even know what is a flip flop in the car, what is a radiator, what is this thing, what is that thing, right? So once you create this whole system, you shoot your queries, you querying tool, you put your query in the querying tool, then you can see the data. Right? Every day in the morning when you will come, you might have to reconnect using this ODBC to this database. Then it will be like you can save the settings just as you come. You can see it also. You can just simply connect to a particular driver. But let's say there are few drivers, a few databases. There are few such databases. Right? So in the morning you will come, you will start your querying tool, and you will specify which one do you want to connect to. So you will pick the ODBC of that one, and you can connect to this one also. Making sense now? You will be specifying every day that this is the database I want to connect to. So you can come in the morning and you say, today I want to work on this sample 6. Okay, so you should know which ODBC to connect. Then you connect to that ODBC and you start shooting queries there. Next, if you come in the morning, I want to start working on sample 6 today. You start doing this thing. You connect to this one, and then you are connected to the database and you start shooting queries on that. Making sense? As part of the exercise, you knew the database which was lying in sample GS, root directory, then sample.
Yeah,
and then you knew the driver. I told you the driver. So these are coming from this. Then I told you how to create an ODBC connection. Then I told you how to use a querying tool to basically connect to this database. Then when you saw all the data lying in that table also. From where shall we get the name of the driver and the name of the database? We'll need these few data. Like here we will need this. As I said, you need user ID, password, machine, database, and you will need something else also depending on the company's infrastructure. And I told you, right, that sometimes you have to do some funky things, and those things only company admins can help you. Okay, so to connect to an Oracle database, you need a TNS names.ora thing. For SQL Server, you need the things that I said up there. User ID, password, machine, and database. Yeah. For SQL Server, you need user ID, password, machine name, and the database name. You need all these 4 things. Okay. Once they give you this thing, then you should create an ODBC connection. And how to do that is, okay, right? So you create one and you choose SQL Server as the driver. As you see, it is not database specific this time. It is the database management system. Every database in SQL Server, you can make a ODBC connection by using this thing. Making sense now? If you are connecting to if your SQL is on SQL Server, there might be a different driver. You need to think about it. If there are 3 drivers, just try it 3 times. So again, you may not be very comfortable in asking people, right? So what you do is you try all 3. But these are clearly for Oracle, and these 2 are clearly for their sample 1. This driver, because Microsoft SQL Server is a Microsoft product. This driver is a Microsoft product. ODBC connection maker is a Microsoft product. All these 3 things are compatible and things are quite easy. So usually you will be using this driver to make what we are talking about. You click on finish. It will ask you the server name here. Here you put the name, whatever. Let's say you want to put, like, production, right? They might be giving the box of, here you put the name of the server. They'll give you the name of the machine or the server. Okay, you put the name of the server. Just it will show you the name of multiple servers here. It is showing only one because I have used only one so far. But in a company, you will see all the servers available in the company. So I usually see like 50, 60 servers. If I open one server, I'll see 5, 6 databases. So you should know which database to connect to and which server to connect to. There you cannot do this job, and you have the right to ask other person what is the server name, what is the machine name. We are talking about SQL Server, very clear. This is only for SQL Server ODBC connections. Server name and the database name is what you need to ask him. Once you put the server name, you click next, then you click on the, then you let's put something. I just put something. Click next. Here you will put the user ID password. When you put the user ID password, either your company will say, hey, use your Windows user ID password. Then you just keep it like this with Windows NT authentication. Or they might give you a special user ID password. If you give you a special user ID password, put it like this. Just check this one and put the user ID password here.
Normally, like they create one. They give me user ID password.
Yeah, they will be creating everything for you. Yeah. Then you put the password, click next. Once you click next, we cannot go after this because we cannot connect to that machine. We can?
You cannot connect to the machine, but you can show the next screen which will come.
Okay, let's show that. Let's see.
You're not on VPN, correct?
I'm not.
Then it will not.
But it will not show any drop down. But it will show the drop down.
It will show you the next screen.
Okay. If this thing happens, that means your user ID password or things like something is not working. In this case, we are not even connected to anything. Right?
SQL server is not on. No? So server is not.
No. It's basically there is no, like I'm not connected. There is no machine name such machine name basically.
Yeah.
Right? It is on the network. I'm not connected to the network right now, so there is nothing like that. So trust me, I have seen this error. If your ODBC is not correct, if your this thing is not correct, if your machine name is not correct, database is not correct, your password is not correct, user ID is not correct, this error message will come. You can never decipher. 4 days back, I was getting this error again and again. The reason was that I had to connect through some authentication server in the company. My tech lead, who is a very techie guy, he did not know what to do. He did not know what's going on. So what the message is? While looking at these error messages, you cannot make out what's going on. You try you should basically enter your username password properly. I can give you one tip here. Every time you're entering a password, let's say your password is password, you first type it here, then you, with the same thing, then you do like this, press Ctrl X, cut it from here. That way you will be sure you have entered the right password. Today morning we had similar situation with one of my consultants. Control X करके वो copy cut होता है ना, then you put it in the password, then you click. So this is one thing. Once you are sure you have entered the user ID password properly, then probably the machine name is wrong or there is something else which is wrong. This something else you are not supposed to know. Once you tried the machine name, but in general after this next, then you'll be get a drop down. You'll be getting a list of few databases and you have to connect to one of them. You connect to he will be telling you which database to connect to. You connect to that database, you will be good. Your ODBC connection will be ready. Okay, then let's do in the same this thing flow. If it is an Oracle database, for Oracle database you need to know which driver to use. Most probably you'll be using this driver, right? Yeah, you'll be using this driver. No, this is for Siebel 5. By the way, this is for Siebel 5, right? Just a minute. Yeah, this is for Siebel 6 for server. This is for Siebel 7 for server. Okay, you click finish. You have to put all these details now. So you put the database name, right? I'm putting Siebel prod. You should put prod, whether it's a prod environment, it's for QA or it's for this thing. You'll be having different databases for different purposes. So you should remember that. It will help you in remembering what it is connecting.
So this will be the database name.
Yes. No, just give some name from your side so that you can remember.
Okay.
Right? Okay. This is a name given from your side.
That's fine.
Then you put your user ID password. Just a minute.
No, yeah.
Niri, where do you put the TLS names.ora? The steps like this only. We'll just give you approximate steps. If we find issues, then we can figure it out at that point. The problem is that I cannot test it here. So you connect to the Siebel database C752 client. Okay. Then you click on the data source. You put this name yourself, whatever name you like. Obviously, you keep a name so that you can remember. Login ID password. Oh, maybe that is the reason. Just a minute. Yeah, you put the server name here. The server name will be given to you by the administrator, somebody else. Database name, I don't think you need to put. You just put the server name, it should be okay. Rest everything is just keep it like that. If you click OK after that, this is the one that we just created, right?
To view.
This one. Maybe because it's trying to connect to that, right?
Yeah.
Thing is, this thing Ansible prod that I entered, it has to be supplemented by something called as tns names.file. I'm taking it to a path c colon oracle nanai network admin. This is a file lying here. This file will be given to you by the administrator or the developer. In this file, so it will be written like this: the name of the protocol, host name, I don't know what is host name, I don't know what is port number, I don't care, I don't know, I don't care. I know that whole file will be given to me by the developer. I'm a BA, not even a developer. This is anyway done by the administrator. Even developer is not supposed to know all these things. He will make sure the only thing you need to know is you open your tns names.ora and see let's say he asks you to put server name Ansible PRD. Okay, you come and check whether there is an entry there or not in tns names.ora. If there is an entry, that means this tns names.ora is good. Otherwise, this is a old tns names.ora. He has given you wrong tns names.ora. Okay, you come here, you come here and check whether there is an entry. If this entry is wrong, only God can save you. You cannot do much. You have to get it checked by this thing. You copy this section, send it to developer, say, can you please tell me whether this section is right? Once this section is right, he says this is right, then you just keep quiet, tns names.ora is fine, close tns names.ora and go back to your work here in the ODBC connection. Then you must make sure that you have to choose the right driver. You choose the right driver, choosing right driver, you cannot do much mistake. Sorry, actually there is a little bit of confusion always. People choose the wrong driver first. So you just be careful the driver that you're choosing. It has funky names. So you choose the right driver. Once you choose the right driver, you put the server name given to you by him, user ID, password, you are good. You don't need anything else. This tns names.ora entry, if you see, it was quite comprehensive. Which host, which portal, which port, which this thing, everything was written there. So you do not need the machine name. You do not need the server name. You do not need the database name. Each and everything was basically encrypted in that simple ENSBL PRD. It is only for Oracle. For Oracle, you need tns names.ora entry. tns names.ora entry, you need only that Ansible PRD. Corresponding to that, there should be an entry in your tns names.ora. In tns names.ora, it basically tells everything where it is lying and everything. Okay. So this is for Oracle. For SQL Server we did once, right? For Oracle we did once. Let's try to connect to something now. It is, you click add, you choose the right this thing. I mean, really, man, it is a matter of you make mistakes, and I mean, you can see I'm making mistakes too. So you cannot do anything. You choose the right driver. It will be giving you put the data source name. Sorry, you put the server name, and data source name will be Siebel. Whatever you want, you just give it a name so that it reminds you what it is about. You'll be basically connecting to QA database, many other places. Okay, click apply, click OK. This is done. So for tns names.ora, you do not need the tns names.ora. Sorry, you do need the tns names.ora for Toad. You do not need to create an ODBC connection. In the querying tool itself, you just put the server name, the user ID, password. It will be able to connect. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say is in Toad,
So
this facility, and this facility are together. Is it right? That's it.
So Toad is basically a direct way to
Yeah.
connect with database,
Yeah.
which is very simple.
Exactly. So in fact, driver is also not required because driver is a part of ODBC definition, right? So you just tell him the tns names.ora and Toad can connect without any issue.
What you said is good for programmers. I
Told?
like that then, yeah.
Why it is like that?
When you say it's everything is inbuilt, I mean, whatever all the other.
Because typing queries is very difficult. That's a good catch. Typing queries is very difficult in that. Not very, it's good for me, but you may not like it because you have to type the queries. And I have seen,
Right.
some people, using querying tools like this, they miss the dots. Remember? Do you remember that? Did you do that?
No, we didn't know space or the and something there's an extra dot,
Yeah.
capital, small, some.
But you did something to that effect, right?
No,
You
we
never
just
part
said.
Okay. So Rekha, is it?
With access, the one
With access is a different querying tool, you will have to make an
audio.
audio.
Go and connect with database. Can you repeat those ones?
This TNS names.or entry that I just showed you, this will go as the connect string in the CFG file of Siebel also. So Siebel also does not need an ODBC connection. You see, it will just need the TNS names.ora entry. It just needs that ENSBL PRD. It will go and read the TNS names.ora. From there, it will get the port number, host, and everything. It will go and directly connect to the database. So you do not need to create any ODBC connection. But for Microsoft Access to connect to any of these, you have to get an ODBC connection. So because that's a different querying tool, right?
So
So now we're gonna do the steps again to connect to that, right? You come here. We're going to connect to the table. See, in usual querying tool, you may not have to connect to the table first. You just start typing your query. But let's understand the access as you said, okay? You first have to connect, make sure that your table is created here. Link table is created here. You click on new, create a link table, click OK. It will give you various options. You can click to ODBC databases. You choose the one that we just created. Click OK. It is prompting you for the user ID password. So all tables have opened. But it is a little different method than what we were trying to do. So Siebel production, I open over with Toad. When you have to open a Siebel Oracle database with Toad or something, with Access, we'll see how I did that. I don't know how I did create that DSN name. Just remember the DSN name that I showed you? I don't remember how I created that.
Okay.
But I created that. Okay, but you can connect to things. I've written some notes. You can just have a look at it, just see whether it makes sense to you guys. Let's see how we access this DB SQL. If you click on this DBI SQL SC, you put the user ID password. I'm sorry, I did not put the file name. So you come to this thing, the database tab, and this is I am in Siebel 7, right? All files, and ssc_samp open, click OK, it will open. So no ODBC required, no nothing required, just user ID, password, and the file name. Because DBI SQL is shipped with Siebel, so Siebel has already taken care of many things out of it. It does not need an ODBC, nothing driver. You just know the name, where the file is. You can make this. With using this thing, you can do this thing. Using the querying tool, you can open the database file, and password, user ID password is admin, right? So okay, so then you can start making queries. Start making query is what we are yet to learn, right? So it is hardest in this tool. So I'm never gonna teach you here. It is hardest here, and you're gonna never learn it. That's how some of my old students. Similarly, for Siebel 6 also there will be a tool like this, as I told you. In bin, if you go in bin, you can see this iSQL 55. This is a tool. Same thing. You put admin. Click OK. It opens. It knows where is the database also. Finished story. It even knows where the database is. You don't even have to tell that. So, but you should know what has happened, right? Okay. Now how to make queries. I'll go back to my good old easiest way of working. Okay. So we connected to this this thing, one of the tables, right? So similarly, you will need to link for Microsoft Access to work. You need to link to all those tables, whatever you want to work on. The way we linked before. You come to queries like this. I clicked on this queries. Then you click on this new. Highlight the design view, which is already highlighted usually. Click on OK. Pick the table that you want to make the query on. Click add. Click close. Right? Let's say you enter a new data here. Or Edelmantin, you want to find out, you want to find out this test opti 123. What you do is you come back, that is the name. So you should know the name of the columns. Who will tell you the name of the columns? You should be knowing that. Okay, I will tell you how to find that later. Okay, I'll tell you how to find that. You drag and drop this thing here, put the condition criteria, click enter, enter. So this is the opportunity. If you drag and drop star, you can see all the values there that are there, that are entered in this. So this is the name, this is the created value, this is the created date, this is created by, this is the last updated date. You go a little bit of right. There's not much data to be matched. You just match the name, right? So name is there. Okay. Similarly, if you come back and you execute basically a blank, no criteria, you will see all the opportunities. 66 opportunities here. You will see all the opportunities here. Right? So now you need to watch RDBMS basics. In that I'm telling you how the data working, how much data is there. In that I never tell how to connect to the database and all these things, right? So now you know how to make a query. Other thing is sometimes you'll have to make the joins, okay? Joins between two tables. So let's see what tables do we have here. So you remember these are the accounts which are associated with this opportunity. These are the professions. They are obviously not lying in the opti table. As we discussed, they should be connected. The whole philosophy of connection, primary key, foreign key, all these things are in some other chapter. So you need to go through that. You will understand that quite quickly. But I'm going to do it for Murugs. You know primary key, foreign key, everything, right? So you should know how the database is organized around these things. For example, one professional can have multiple opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to add two professionals which are having who are associated with this opportunity, and this last name.
Yeah, if you go
He's associated with this opportunity, and he's associated with this opportunity too. So we can see that contact to opportunity is a many-to-many relationship, right?
Yeah. RDBMS 1 and 2.
Murugs, opportunity to account. What kind of relationship is it? Is it one-to-many or many-to-many or or m-to-1?
Opportunity to account many to one.
Many to one. Okay. So that means in opportunity table there will be a foreign key of account.
Yeah.
Is it right?
Yeah.
Right. So let's trace that. Let's do that. Okay. Let's do that. So we'll bring two tables in and we'll trace that. So I'm gonna connect. Opportunity table is already there. I'm gonna get another table, which is the account table. Do you know, Murugs, which is the accounts table?
By name?
Yeah. Actual table name.
No, I don't.
Okay. It is s_org_ext. Did you remember, ma'am? Oh, it was already there. I'm sorry. So I'm going to delete one.
Yeah, I know this table. It is there in
Yeah.
starting order.
Okay. So now we will join these tables. Okay. And I will show you that in the database there is. Okay. Let's do that. Let's look at the opportunity table first. Okay. And this is we will study this opportunity, test opti 123. It is not associated with any account. I'll associate with an account. I'm going to associate with Advantage Pharmacy. Okay. So we go back and study this opportunity. Okay. We run that. We are able to find that opportunity. Everything is good.
Yeah.
Let's study this opportunity. We see that. So I'm hoping to find this name Advantage Pharmacy somewhere, right? Right, moves and right, sir.
Yeah.
Let's go through this. It is not there, right? So one thing is sure, it has to be anyway a foreign key, right? So you knew that. So I was not. You know that we would have not gotten the name, right?
Yeah.
So let me tell you which is a foreign key. You should know that. This is a knowledge that you should have. I will give you a list of all the foreign keys and all these things. Okay. So PR department OUID is the foreign key to the organization table, sorry, to the account table. So I'm just deleting this. I'm going to bring one more table in. I click on this, I see the list of tables again. I bring my table in, click close. It is already joined. In general, you have to join actually, but anyway, it's already joined. Okay.
This looks like a wrong join.
I know,
It's
but
connected row ID to row ID. That's wrong. No?
no, it's not.
Yeah, it's row ID to row ID.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I hope it will not break the join in the. Okay. So this is the org table. This is the opportunity table. I'm expanding this. So I'm going to go to PR underscore OU underscore ID. So PR and department OU ID. It is now connected. This is the way to join two tables. You should know which keys to join, right? Then I'm going to pick this thing.
Just to the top.
This is the foreign key. This is Advantage Pharmacy. Just want to show you that. This is the row ID in the Siebel account table. Muruk, please see.
Okay.
So this is all good. This is the opportunity name. This is the PR department. So we are able to trace a many-to-one relationship. Is it right, Muruks? Right? Do you want to trace a one-to-many relationship also? For this Advantage Pharmacy, let's associate with this account multiple opportunities. So there are multiple opportunities, but they did not come in our query, right, Muruks? So we need to make sure that we get a list of all the opportunities associated with this account. So what I do is highlight this join.
Join property.
And include all records from
You have to break the criteria.
I just have to break the criteria actually.
Everything right, and then you have to put the criteria on SOT.
You're right. Yeah.
Pharmacies and pharmacy, no?
You're right.
Come.
Putting the formula here.
Uh,
Click on this. Both the opportunities are come. So we are able to trace one-to-many and many-to-one relationships. Is it right, Mooks?
Yeah.
Okay. So now we come back. Okay. So many-to-one and one-to-m we are able to trace, right, Mooks?
Yeah.
Now we'll trace a many-to-many relationship. Opportunity to organization is what kind of relationship? One-to-many, many-to-many, or many-to-one?
Opportunities to organization, many to one.
Not organization, accounts. Many-to-one. So I delete this because that will not work. So let's use the contact table now because that is a one-to-many relation, many-to-many relationship, right? Again, this join is wrong, right? We need to have one more table, the intersection table, right, Muruks? Okay, that table I need to bring again now. So I'll go back, go to tables, click on new, click on link table, click OK, click on ODBCs, sample 6. The name of the table is Opticon. Again, who will tell you? You should know. This is a part of my training course. You have to know these things. I'll tell you all these names and everything. In that RDBMS, I'm telling you all this little bit, but I'm explaining the concepts behind these things. So you will understand what I'm talking only after listening to that. So you click on this, you come here. It has been included. It is available in the queries. Click on new, click on design. All those 3 tables. Okay, which table is which? I strongly suggest that you expand them so that you can see the name and everything properly. Right? So you are here. Contact. There is a column called as per ID here. This is a column. This goes and gets connected with this. Opportunity ID gets connected with this. Right? So we should trace which opportunities, Muruks? I'll go back to our test opti. Test opti. Alright, test opti had 2 professionals, right? It has 1, right? I'll add 2. Okay. SK Ali also. Okay. So we'll go to Alexander and see his opportunities. He has 2 opportunities. So we are supposed to get 4 records, right? 4 relationships, right? Alexander's relationships too, opportunities too. We have 4 relations. Okay. Anyway, so I'll look for this opportunity. This opportunity, name of the opportunity should be, right? Where are we not getting? So I am gonna click enter. So I'm able to see the 2 professionals. Execute this. You see the both the profession associated with this, with this opportunity, right? You come back. Now you want to see the opportunities associated with the last name Alexander, right? One of these guys. Come back, and there are how many opportunities with this Alexander guy? There are these many, right? So I come back, I take the copy of Alexander, I type like this, change the joins, I see all the 3. This is another Alexander. No, this guy is not Mary Alexander, right? We wanted to look for Mary Alexander, right? So these are the 2 opportunities associated with him. So we are able to trace an intersection table also, or a many-to-many relationship. We are able to trace 1 to M. We are able to trace M to 1. The day we know how to trace this back and forth, we are basically checking the data, right? This is what we are doing.
Okay.
Why BA looks at data? There is a frequently asked question. You need to go through that also. That will tell you why we need to do this whole thing, ODBC and everything. It's kind of a more development oriented job, right? We are doing something related to development administration. Then I'm explaining there why do we need to look at data. Once you know why you need to look at data, then you can make a meaning out of it, what you're doing there. I'm going to record another chapter after this in which I will only tell you how to make different kinds of queries. Okay? For now, you just understand how ODBC should be created, how the data should be created, and so on and so forth. The use of looking at data, we'll look at it, but why do you need to look at it? We do not know. There is another video why you need to look at data, but how it is helping is, see, in Siebel, let's say you want to find out how many opportunities were created yesterday and what were the products associated with them. Okay, let's say in last week 15 opportunities were created. For all those opportunities, 2 were related to one product 1, 3 were related to product 2, rest 10 were related to product 3. Let's say you want to get this data and you don't know this. Your VP comes to you and says, can you tell me the product by number of opportunities ratio? So your end result that you will get is, in this case, P1 2, P2 3, P3 10. But you do not know this yet. How will you calculate this thing? So you will come here, you will first come here all opportunities. You will make a search for the opportunities which were opened last week, right? Created. So you'll make a search for created from 1st of February to 8th of February, right? Then you will get a list of opportunities. Then you will go back and forth and check what is the product for this opportunity. Is it right? You will see, okay, this is a product. So you'll note it down. Opportunity 1, product this one. Then you will go back to your list. Maybe your list will get evaporated like it is here. Then you will again make the same query. So you will keep on making query in the GUI, and then you will keep on noticing what was the related product for that opportunity. Is it right? To avoid that, which is a 15-minute, no, not 15 minutes, it is like half an hour to 45-minute job. And if there are, let's say, more than 15 opportunities, let's say there are 1500 opportunities, then you're talking about a good 1 day, right? To avoid all this, I can go back and I can tell you in 1 second how many products were sold um, how many opportunities were related to a particular product. So I can give the product by product report of all the opportunities. Making sense? Like this opportunity. Similarly, let's say he says, can you give me the number of opportunities for every professional? So how many professionals are there? There are like 120 professionals. So if you want to find out all the opportunities associated with them, what you will do is you will highlight everyone, go to this one. This is an easier thing. Let's do it right away. Highlight the Paizoski, the first one. You'll go by one. You'll first highlight this Edelman Chinu.
Okay.
Come here. Look at these opportunities. 3 opportunities. You'll note it down. Edelman Chinu, 3 opportunities. Right? You'll go back. Actually, in civil, you can go to the next record from here itself. Apley 1. Alexander Richard 0. Right? Appleberg Amos 0. Right? Armstrong Rachel 4. Can you see that you're gonna spend the whole night? Okay, I'll do it in 2 minutes. Then it will tell you how is that querying helping you?
Professionals too.
Yeah, so we'll do that now. So for every professional, we have to find out how many opportunities, right? Give me 1 second.
Professional.
For every professional.
So you have to ready the
Give me one second. Let me मेरे को भी थोड़ा consider करना पड़ता है ऐसी चीजों पे ना. You know, it's not my main thing. Give me 1 second. So there are like 291 professionals in the GUI. In backend we have 299 professionals, and this is a breakup, guys. Let's see whether this is the right breakup. Aran Blue, it is saying 1 opportunity. Let's go back and check whether my query is right or not. So we're gonna spot checking. Aran Blue, there is 0. Give me 1 second.
Andrew.
No, just a minute. Give me 1 second. We got that. So for Aaron Blue we have 0. For Aditya Chatterjee we have 0. You check it out. Alan Anderson we have 1, right? So let's check that out. Right? We have 0 for what's my going for? Oh, because there is only 1 in the query. I'll do it like this. Okay. Then I will check the opportunities for this guy. Appleman Chinu 3 opportunities. First of all, did you guys notice that we got it in 1 minute? I'm going to cross check it in front of you, and there you can find errors also. By spot checking, you can make sure anybody can make sure that the query is right. So I'm going to just find out like this 3. Who was the number 3 here? For somebody there was number 3. Like I'm going to make a search for that particular guy. 3. Okay, that was Elementino. See, he is there in 3. We are also having 3 opportunities for him. Is it right? We come back. We look at another guy. Happily, Stephen has 1, right? So this, I think it is good query. I'm going to remove my condition. Come here, make it this thing, copy it, come to desktop, make an Excel file. Just you see what I'm going to do now. This is the main part too, because they will need these things from us. Okay. Spelling check. Opportunities was wrong. Change, close. Save it, close it, name it. Send it to your manager. So done in how much time? Approximately 5 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? I produce these kind of reports every day for my manager. I can show you some sample reports so that you know what kind of reports go there, and they kind of sometimes get complicated too. Complicated in the sense query is a little complicated, but it's not something which conceptually it will be having these things only. Please remember that you may not be able to do it, because these queries get complicated.
So we need to.
Yeah. So this is one query that I made. It is written in the SQL jargon, but trust me, it's easier to make the queries like this because you can see everything in one go. Even if you are joining, like I'm joining like so many tables here. See, these are the join conditions. Still, I'm able to understand, and I can easily, remove or add conditions very easily. These are removed conditions. These are added conditions. So this gives me more power. So that's why I like Toad more. But I don't like that SQL query analyzer or SQL, that IVDB SQL still, because that does not show you. See, in Toad, when you are typing, it changes the color and everything. So it's easy to read.
Yeah.
But IDB SQL is like black and white, like Notepad. You cannot read anything. I can show you right now how it looks like in Toad. See, this is how this query looks like. It becomes colorful and all that in Toad. So it's easy to read. As far as ease of reading is concerned, it is there now. Now the only thing is you should have typing hand. Trust me, I like this thing more because the joins are all right here. I can analyze the joins from here itself. I don't have to go anywhere. You see? So plus this is quite fast.
What is
Other thing is Shift F9 executes a query. You don't have to use a mouse a lot. So many people like this thing. I'm executing this query. Let's see the results. I hope it still works. Data schema keeps on changing, so it still works. You see? Now you know what is the basic use of learning all this. Why are we making ODBC connection? What is the use and all that?
For
Before we leave,
making this report,
before we conclude, let's go over the slides again. We added these 2-3 slides. Please make a note of all this. We added this big slide too. Please make a note of our slide, this thing too. Let's go over all the slides once again. Please stop here and just see what's there.